Hello, I'm Jonathan Hobson, ENT surgeon, and today I'm going to be talking about grommets. A grommet is a very small, perhaps 2 to 3 millimetre plastic tube that looks a little bit like a miniature cotton ball bin. We put them into the ear canal to ventilate the middle ear. The most common reason for putting grommets in is if children have got glue ear. Glue is a thick fluid that can accumulate behind the eardrum. It often occurs after upper respiratory tract infections, coughs and colds and so on, and in most children it drains away on its own. In a small number of children, however, it persists, and because it's very thick, viscous and sticky, it stops the eardrum from moving properly. This means that more energy has to go into the ear to move the eardrum by the same amount, and this effectively makes children deaf. Although the glue isn't infectious, it can become infected, and children with glue ear, particularly younger children, 1 to 2 years old, can sometimes get recurrent episodes of acute otitis media or acute ear infections. In order to put the grommet in, we do it under a very short general anaesthetic. We use an operating microscope to make a hole in the eardrum, and then using micro instruments, we put the grommet in place. The operation is usually done as a day case, meaning you can go home later on. All operations have risks attached to them, but grommet insertion is extremely safe. There are risks of bleeding and infection with all operations, and actually probably about 6 out of 10 children will have one episode of a leaky ear in the year after the grommets go in, but this usually settles with some antibiotic drops. I normally advise children keep their ears dry for about 4 weeks after the grommets go in, and although you can swim, a small number of children do get recurrent ear infections with grommets if they swim, and in those instances it's either sensible to keep the ears dry with earplugs or to avoid swimming up altogether. Sometimes the grommets can come out a little bit too early. They usually stay in anywhere between about 6 to 12 months, and only about 50% of children where the grommet has fallen out need to have another set reinserted. The other problem is sometimes when the grommets come out, you can be left with a hole in the eardrum, which requires another operation to close over. But generally speaking, it's a very safe, very straightforward operation to try and improve your hearing.